goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Thanks for having us. This is a very cool show.
Yeah, so through many iterations, and we finally landed on the weirdest one by far.
Yeah, simple feelings, and boom, you got a sound.
I remember this one time. I had been writing some songs, and I went out. I'm just going right in on this story. I went out, and so I was.
The story's longer than the song itself. We'll go ahead and play it.
And listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band. Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar. Tonight, the bluesy, soul, pop, rock of Aubrey Haddard. Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be your next favorite band. Hello, David.
Hello, Philip. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, the DM?
The DM. I feel like I should roll initiative at this point in time to get things moving ahead.
Absolutely. Well, we kind of have a different slight format this month where we're actually going to bring on, rather than the artists on the same evening, we're bringing them on two separate nights. July does that to everything.
There's a holiday at the beginning. There's all sorts of things that make July special.
And hot.
Well, yeah, there's that. I mean, it's summer flexing.
But this month we do really have the exciting thing to not only present people with maybe their next favorite band, but both bands performing here in Bethlehem. So for our local listeners, tonight's interview is with someone performing on the 7th of July, and then the next one is going to be someone performing on the 14th. And I think that's super exciting. It's the Levitt Pavilion too, which is kind of across the country, which is kind of a cool thing. They might be playing elsewhere and closer to some other listeners too.
It's true. You got to check out those dates because all of these artists are worth seeing live. I mean, that's the place where you see the magic happen.
Absolutely. And let's not hesitate to get to tonight's magic.
No, let's not.
So we're going to bring on a little bit of music here from tonight's artist is Aubrey Haddard. So let's bring on one of her songs. It's one of my absolute favorites. It was one when she played at Music Fest last year. I walked up to the stage while they were playing this song, and I was already all in on her music anyway. But then, like you talked about the magic of the live music, I was like, wow. So anyway, this is a very cool produced video for Thin Line. And let's take a listen to that. And then you're going to share some of the bio during the music.
Give me a sign, I'm not wasting all my time. I got a feeling I'm holding on for life. Took me in and turn out the light. Under the covers, I stayed up all night.
Aubrey Haddard was 15 when her world was rocked after seeing Susan Tedeschi for the first time. From that point forward, the Hudson Valley native forged her own path in music by bearing her spirit with relentless moxie. After cultivating music in Boston through 2017, Haddard released her brashly intimate debut album, Blue Part, in July of 2018 to wide critical acclaim. She was praised by NPR affiliate WBUR as having Anansit star power. Big Boston described her songs as bursting with life. Following the release of her debut, Haddard spent the following 2 years heavily circulating national tour circuits as both a headliner and support act for numerous globally recognized bands, including The Dip, Nanette Tayeb, who I know through Steven Wilson was my introduction, Lawrence, a great brother-sister combo, Liz Cooper and the Stampede, Low Cut Connie, who sometimes is like going to church, and the National Reserve. Led by singles Just a Wall and Green as Ever, Aubrey Haddard's second full-length album, Awake and Talking, will be released August 19th, 2022.
Coming up later this summer. So let's bring on Aubrey. Aubrey, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
And I hope people are enjoying it. You know, if this happens to be your first time catching some Aubrey music, hopefully, it's such a cool video. And tell us a little bit about what was, this seemed like a fun one to shoot.
Yeah, this was like my first real music video I ever made. And it was actually with a friend and collaborator who I still make all of my music videos with. His name's Josh Thomas. And we weren't really friends at the time, but obviously I'm very close with my bandmates.
Absolutely.
Who are incredibly easy to love. So that was easy. We just kind of got the studio space and wanted to capture some of like the energy that we feel when we're on stage together. And
Totally.
it happened.
All right, so we'll take that out for now, and now we're gonna focus on your story. We love to listen to the stories as well as listen to the music.
Amazing. I loved hearing you guys announce that my next album is coming out. I'm still not like over that. That feels so good. I'm like, yeah, it's coming out.
It has
That's
probably
so cool.
it has probably felt like quite a long rollout and very fast all at the same time. Is that
Honestly,
like a pretty
no,
good summer?
It's been such a long rollout of this whole record, so I'm ready. I'm ready for it to go.
I bet you are. We're looking forward to it. The first 2 tracks that I've heard have sounded great.
Thank you.
Totally, absolutely. And I think one other thing about is kind of probably pairs with your origin story, if you will, but it's a very important point for us to get out right away. You've been playing Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush for a long time.
Thank you. I appreciate that recognition.
Yep.
You are a fortune teller because of you got the music supervisor's ear apparently at Stranger Things.
I guess like if only he would place one of my tracks. I don't know.
Right, that would be the
What do I
yes.
need to do?
That's the next part.
Yes,
Or you have to
absolutely.
like retro release it in the 80s somehow. Like you have to figure out a way to do that.
Yes. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that should you ever play that, in the coming shows this summer, everyone needs to know that you deserve credit for. You didn't
Trust
just
me.
add
Should
it to
I
your
play
set.
it? Should I play it in the upcoming shows? I will let everyone know. Don't.
As you should. You absolutely should. But it was even in other places, like as we were doing our research, we found that people were like comparing you to her, and you were using it as also inspiration for your own music writing. And it was just like those interviews and those articles that I was reading were from like 2019. It was like way before Stranger Things. So
yeah, Kate has been a huge influence, especially in like the past few years, for sure.
Awesome. So in that bio that we shared, there was also the Susan Tedeschi reference, and anything you want to share there about like how that moment just kind of like must have rung a gong for you.
I was kind of like thinking about this yesterday, and I'm embarrassed because this is now the second time that I'm bringing up astrology to you guys in one sitting, which really isn't me. That's not me, but here I am.
Listen, just go with the vibe.
Somebody told me the other day, like, it's Cancer season, so you need to listen to the music that you know the best, or something like find your comfort music. And Susan Tedeschi and Tedeschi Guitar Spencer is totally that for me. I glommed onto it super hard when I was younger, and I think that in watching her perform, there was something that resonated so deeply with me where I was like, okay, I see this powerful woman using her voice in such a way and her talents in such a way that makes sense, that I could somehow apply to myself. And, at first, like, imitation is always such a good way for a young artist or a musician to learn. So I started singing the blues a bunch in like local blues bands and local dad bands and things up in the Hudson Valley, and that's really how I like cut my teeth and got my start as a performing musician.
That is so cool. And then the other thing that I saw that I just definitely wanted to ask you about was it looked like after high school you spent time in Senegal.
I did, yeah. I went on like a gap year program.
Sure.
I think mainly going away after high school was really good for me to just align my priorities. I remember getting back, and instead of going to college, I was like, I need more time. And then I was like, I think I'm going to go to music school. So it just put some things in the right place for me.
Totally. Was there anything with because obviously music there is going to be much different, like Western music and Eastern music, very different.
Yeah, sure.
Did that influence songwriting or influence your appreciation? Like anything that it impacted you as an artist?
I don't know if there's any like linear correlation between the music. I wasn't like immersed in a music program of any kind when I was there, or like
got it,
or any kind of situation. But I did do a lot of songwriting while I was there, just as I was figuring things out and how to be there. So in that way, yeah, there was that influence for sure.
Cool. And then so you do come home, and in this point, you come home to New York, or is this where you start to move to Massachusetts?
Upstate, yeah,
okay.
To New York, to the Hudson Valley, and then hung around for a little bit. You know, if you've never been to the Hudson Valley, it's the best place in the world. So I didn't want to leave right away.
I spent a lot of time in the Catskills. My family
nice.
would go there a lot in the summertime. So yeah.
That's
in fact, I leave this weekend to go to Lake George, which isn't Hudson Valley, but it's up that way.
Still New York, so
yep.
I naturally have to be very proud about it. No, the Hudson Valley is amazing, and the cultural scene, like musically and artistically, and the environment is also beautiful and inspiring. And actually, a lot of the new record was written up there too. But before I went to school, I hung out for a while, and then I moved up to Boston. And
so Berklee College of Music, where is that located?
In Boston.
In Boston. Okay, so that's what brings you up there. Got it.
Yeah. So then I hung out at school for a little while and met some amazing people. And
it looks like one of them was Stan Strickland, one of your professors there, who kind of unlocked things for you. Yeah.
Yeah, Stan was the man. Stan was like, there are so many things that I feel like he taught me about my voice and using my voice that I still think about today all the time when I'm performing and practicing, that were so spiritual. Like the voice is such an abstract instrument, and you know, you can't look at your hands and correct your position, or you know, learn a new scale by memory. It's like, it's just very abstract, and he connected a lot of those dots for me when I was in school there. Yeah.
That is super cool. It's always good to have those mentors and those like people who inspire you to, you know, reach a new level, and that's just kind of neat. Yeah,
I feel very lucky. I've had a lot of good music teachers in my life. A lot of good ones. Yeah.
That's excellent. And those are the things that just open the doors. They either unlock something in yourself or introduce you to either other band members or you know, just a new style of music. You never know where it's going to lead you.
Very true.
Yeah. And I found this really weird thing. And so again, forgive me, the internet can be the creepiest place in the world.
Oh,
but no, it was something where you were, I think it's really cool. And I just wanted to mention it, like, cause it looks like it was associated to your time up there, but it was an organization called Groovy Baby Music. And you would do like music lessons.
I still work for Groovy.
Oh, you still do? That's why it came up.
I am a music teacher by day, and it's amazing. I work for Groovy Baby up in Boston, so I'm on Zoom with them, and we do group classes. It's very cute. And then I do private lessons here in New York.
Yes.
But yeah.
So there you go. For all of you who have a baby, is there a minimum age or anything like that, or
a maximum age?
Newborns. All right. So newborns and on up. Take classes with Aubrey. Go.
It's extremely cute. There's nothing cuter than like seeing a 1-year-old learn how to like bop along to a beat. You know.
Right. Of course.
Very cute.
Yes. Actually, it just happened. We shared it in the other interview. Red Barat. I don't know if you know them. They're out of Brooklyn too. They're like the base of their sound is Bhangra, which like Indian style music.
Whoa.
but they're like an 8-piece, a lot of horns, a lot of percussion, awesome band that they then take Indian style, bongo style music and turn it into either funk or R&B or rap even and whatnot. It's just a lot of fun. And I took this one little shot of this. She couldn't have been more than 18 months old, just kind of like bopping around to the music. And it's just so cool to watch that happen. I know what you mean.
It is so cool. And then even when they're older, like I have this one student who is 8 and she's so devoted to her instrument. Like she's very disciplined, I should say. Very disciplined to her instrument. And sometimes, man, she is looking at me and playing something and like her eyes just totally glaze over. And it's like she's in another world and but she's like staring at you the whole time. And then she finishes and she's like, oh, that was amazing. I'm like, yes.
That is flow. Yes. Congratulations on 8-year-old and hitting that.
I know. And I'm like, you were going to be chasing that for the rest of your life.
Totally. Absolutely, yeah. And that's when they get it. Like they're not just playing notes, they're in the music, and that's a musician right there. Like you can almost guarantee it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
That is super cool. So back to the story. So if I understand it right, you're in Boston. I don't know if this is either during college or after college, but you release a solo EP called Adult Lullabies 2016.
Yeah, so Adult Lullabies was kind of like on a whim. I was tracking in the studio with Matt Pfeiffer, who still engineers and produces my records today. But we were working on a different record for a band that I was in, and we were tracking like the very last background vocals. But we had blocked out the studio for the whole day, and I was like, I'm just gonna bring my guitar in case we have some extra time. And then we tracked like these 5. Is it 5 songs?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, we tracked like these 5 little. We tracked these 5 little, like tadpole song ideas. But I liked the feeling that they captured, and I didn't really have another outlet for them. And I thought, why not, share these with anybody else who wants to hear them? So that kind of started things off. And I feel like once I released that, people in the Boston community were like, oh, you do that too. Do you want to open my show?
Very cool.
Because like as an acoustic act, it was like, oh, it's like, yeah, just like get Aubrey to do it or whatever. So then I started getting my first couple of solo gigs after releasing that EP.
That's very cool. Is that where you meet the drummer that you?
Yeah, that's exactly where I meet the drummer.
Yeah. And I think that was a fun. Yeah, I think that was a funny story there because like he was just a fan.
Yeah, he was super cute. He was playing drums in one of the other bands, and front row taking pictures and videos of me clapping like, yeah. And every time I'm like, who is this guy? And then he came up to me afterwards and was like, if you ever need a drummer. And I was like, yeah, sure.
Right.
And sure enough, a couple of months down the line, we partied together a couple of times. I'm like,
sure.
You want to hang out?
And then he's the drummer from the video, right? Like that's him there. Yeah. And he's got a very interesting style. I think like it fits your music. And I just think, I don't know, I just like really listening to it and that they definitely jive well together.
He's a very intuitive person. I think that comes across in his playing.
Yeah. What he chooses to play as a beat, I don't think is what you would instantly think would match, but it matches way better than what maybe would have been more traditional. So I think
nobody does a better job than him.
I think that's super cool. And his name is Josh, right?
Yeah, that's Josh. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, shout out to Josh being a great drummer.
Shout out, Josh.
And then you mentioned you in that recording, you're like, hey, I just brought my guitar, and you brought your guitar today. So
I did.
Yeah. So we were gonna move here into the release of the 2018 album Blue Part.
What a perfect segue.
Right? So if you don't mind, maybe talk a little bit about that album, and then if you want to introduce the song, what we'll do is kind of give you more center stage, and this way people can really enjoy your playing.
Sure. So Blue Part was the most, it was a great experiment because Charlie started coming and playing bass with us and doing some songwriting too. Actually, I was looking through the record today. I don't listen to it very often, but I was looking through the record today and thinking about what I wanted to play for you guys, and remembered that one of the tracks on the record, probably my favorite track, is called What I Need Now. And that's a song that Charlie wrote. And I was like, he's such a good writer, listening back to it. I was like, I wonder why I like this song so much. Oh, it's because I didn't write it. But yeah, Blue Part was cool. We got the team that's still together, Josh on drums and Charlie on bass and Matt engineering, into my studio in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and mapped out a record for a couple of days. And it was, I think it was like the first time I started to take myself seriously, for better or worse.
Certainly better.
I would agree with better.
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so that was cool. Blue Part was really cool, and it gave us this platform. It gave us something to show people, and it was a cool introduction of our sound to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So the first single that we released off of that was called I Should Know Better. And I'm going to do like a version of that today. It's going to sound a little different than it does on the record, but
yeah, can't wait. It's definitely that's the first song that caught my ear as I was prepping for Music Fest last year to find who I wanted to kind of go check out. And I heard that song and I was just like, this song rips. I can't wait to see this play this person
rips.
Just want to see this person perform this thing live. And then, like I talked about before, like I just walked up and it was just song after song after song that was just so enjoyable.
I appreciate that. I think it kind of blows my mind how many people have heard this song.
Mm-hmm.
It just, it was kind of pre like editorial playlisting.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And I remember we booked like a tour, very DIY tour, right around the release of it, and got people, in every city that we were visiting to stream it and like it, and that an algorithm like picked it up a few times or something, and it's just had this reach that's bigger than I ever expected it to have. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful for how many people enjoy this song, for sure.
And we're hoping that this turns like more people onto you being their next favorate band.
Maybe.
And,
Maybe,
and I'm
but
excited.
No guarantees that I'll ever play this for you again. I will say that.
Well, we will embrace this moment and be thankful. And so here is Should Have Known Better, Aubrey Haddard.
Almost forgot this feeling to be on the ground kneeling right after my head went through the ceiling. Now I'm barely dealing. It's written all over your face. Gotta get out of this place. Burning white socks, wrinkled lace. I'm guilty of making fun of too many mistakes. And now every night I'm a 2 a.m. hot mess. Yeah. And every day I get a little more never by myself, but always alone. And her name is still marked on your telephone. Names called, stones thrown. Neighbors hear my door drone. Now every night I'm a 2 a.m. hot mess. And every day I get a little more heartless. I should know better than writing love letters to someone who'd never remember. I should know better than writing love letters to someone who'd never remember. I should know better than writing love letters to someone who I should know. I should know by now.
Yay!
That was awesome. That,
That
like
was
you said, it was
wonderful.
yeah.
Oh,
Diff-
thanks, guys.
Yeah, so different than the recording, but so cool and bluesy.
I think that something everyone who encounters my music can bet their bottom dollar on is that I will always be true to myself. Don't you worry about it. You know what I mean? It's like,
Totally.
if I don't feel like playing that song the way that I recorded it, I will not do that. So that's how I feel about that song.
No, right. And in
That's
fact,
great.
even last month, the artist Mike Maines was talking about that, where he was saying, he's like, I have to play the stuff that is like firing up my soul, so that I'm genuine on stage. If it's not that way, then it's just not going to come across. So totally understand what you mean. Yeah.
100%. I mean, that's the artistic prerogative.
Yeah, I love that word. Prerogative is like one of my favorite words.
It is a good one.
It is. It also makes me sing the Bobby Brown song.
There's
time. But that's the other side of it.
I did not have a Bobby Brown reference on my bingo card for tonight.
Yeah.
So you win.
Yeah.
Do you guys do that? Do you make bingo cards? Because I'm into bingo cards.
No, you know what? We should. Though.
We should. Yeah, it would be full of really weird things like Bobby Brown references.
Right. Exactly.
That's the best kind of bingo card.
Exactly. Yeah. Or even just the word prerogative. But so now returning back to your story, it's the reception of that album, like you said, is really strong. And then it looks like you win Vocalist of the Year, Singer Songwriter of the Year at these Boston Music Awards.
Yes,
right?
I did.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
cool.
Aubrey.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be a huge lift of that feeling of I am doing something that is making sense, and it, believe it or not, it's starting to resonate with people.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, award ceremonies and award events are social
Sure.
engagements.
Sure.
There is that to take into consideration, but it is something that I set out to do before leaving Boston behind. Not that I left it behind, I still consider it a second home, but before I was ready to start the next chapter of my art career, I really, really wanted to be a part of something big like that, and that was amazing. That was an amazing feeling.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it has to be. And then I was going to say, but then you returned back to New York shortly thereafter, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I did. That following fall, I guess. Yeah.
And that, yeah. And it looks like too, there's even like a moment where you are writing some music that's ready to be produced, but you kind of doesn't feel right to you, and you actually kind of sell some of those songs off or release them as singles only.
Yeah, we went out to Oakland. We did this cool residency out there, recording for a couple of weeks, and the same core 4 of us. And yeah, it was a collection of songs that didn't have enough. It wasn't more than the sum of its parts, you know? So that's something I'm always looking for if I'm gonna release a collection of music. But there were so many good things about that record that I didn't want to let go. And something that we were really in need of was visual representation, like something for people to look at and think Aubrey Haddard, like something that people could see to put my name to. And I still liked so much of that music. So that's where Thin Line and Portuguese and Sweeter and National Tragedy came from, was that group of songs.
Yeah. And they're all singles, right? They're not on any.
They're all singles. Yeah.
They're all singles. Yeah. But a very cool time. It's a cool way to connect that too, because I didn't make that connection that it was more about the visuals. Well, not more about, but the connection.
Yeah,
of the visuals
I think it definitely gave me a chance to build something out that way. And also, we recorded the Thin Line video that you showed. That was the first release of all 4 of those tracks, and we made that video in February 2020.
Oh.
So yeah.
So you're all
timing.
Everyone's
It was
running
like-
around, breathing on each other. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but at the same time, it was like, oh crap, all of our shows are canceled.
Yeah.
We have
Yep.
nothing going on, but now we're sitting on. Sorry, I'm in Queens, New York.
You're right.
But we're sitting on, quote unquote content, but not just content. It's not just a TikTok video. It's something that I really care very deeply about and put in a lot of work and thought.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah, that was really good for us, I think, to have all of that.
Right. And then, so, I mean, sometimes it's always interesting to hear, like, so COVID hits, like, what do you, as a band or as an artist individually, like, what do you move to during that time? Like, did you do
I feel like I grieved for like 2 weeks as everything was getting canceled.
Certainly.
We were gonna play a bunch of new festivals and things, and I grieved. But the three of us lived together, Charlie, Josh, and me. So we had a rehearsal space, and we're like living in New York City on like the ground floor. We're like, don't open the windows. Like, it was tricky.
Yeah. Oh, it totally was.
But we'd get in the car, we'd mask up, we'd glove up, and then we'd go to the rehearsal space, and we would stay in there for hours and hours and hours, and come out of our like grief from our home and into this place of creativity where all we wanted was to just like feel better and just relax and like literally just make music to like dance to or just be okay with, and we wrote a ton of music, and that's where the new record came from.
And that's what we're kind of seeing is this like Phoenix moment of like,
I love these Phoenixes.
Yeah, like I like a lot of the people talk about that time in a very similar way, where it was like had all this stuff scheduled, everything gets canceled. You kind of feel horrible about yourself. You're unsure. And then you're like, well, I got to do something. So some of them were songwriting. Some of them were practicing their techniques. Some of them went to the live streams like this. And it's like, but everyone got better. Like everyone spent that time in the cocoon to try and do something that when it was over.
I don't know if everybody got better, but everybody changed.
I think cocoon is a better word that you used versus better. There's a transformation.
There was a transformation
on the other side.
Fair. So far, everyone I've spoken to got better. Maybe there's other people who like decided to become a mortgage broker or something like that.
But I love you, Scott, but I had a booking agent that was like, "I'm going to be a carpenter."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
My father's a retired carpenter, and he's still mad that I'm not a carpenter. So I appreciate that. On the note that Phil just said about Phoenix, though, that's an interesting one that leads us into the new album, because I think the new tracks that I've heard lyrically, you start leaning more. There's a mythological tone that I'm feeling from some of these things.
Yes.
Versus the prior ones had a more personal tone. There's still a personal connection, but I think there's like a mythological esqueness. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So a couple things were happening when I was writing new music. I was spending a lot of time on the discipline of writing all the time. And I think that that's a different approach to some of the other things that I've written and released. So when you're writing all the time, you look for prompts and like inspiration in more places. And someone who I was wholly inspired by was Kate Bush. And Kate Bush has this incredible ability to tell a detailed, immense narrative of something completely outside of herself. Like she doesn't even exist. She is purely the vessel for this story. And I was really into that. So I was trying to write as many things as I could that were just not from my perspective or were in the first person, but, telling a different story. And I also found a lot of comfort in mythology and just the ideas that like human suffering has always existed, and there can be this death and rebirth like the phoenix. There can be there's fate, it's written in the stars, there's destiny, or there's not. on the record, I don't think I'm writing any kind of perspective in stone. I'm just
Mhm.
weaving my way through them and seeing if I like hanging out there, I guess.
Yeah,
What am I saying?
Yeah, just
Well, I think
you
this
put a little
was
spotlight on a bit of the story, and then
Sure.
let the rest of it sort of, people can learn things from that, and they grow or they discover their own path forward.
Yeah. So I was just finding a lot of like comfort in leaving myself out of it because I was
Mhm.
feeling so much self-pity like during the pandemic, like too much self-pity. And then and then one of my favorite movies is called Orpheus or Orphée. It's like this old French film
Sure.
by Jean Cocteau. It's based off of the Greek story of Orpheus.
Mhm.
And that was one of the writing things that I tried to do. I tried to watch that movie as many times as I could and write as many lyrics as I could around that movie, putting myself in the shoes of the different characters and just seeing what that felt like. And I think at the end of the day, it ties a lot of my intentions together with this new record.
Yeah.
That story does.
I saw it was a part that you had talked about in a different interview where you really enjoy the process of songwriting. Like it's some of the parts that you love the most.
I do. It is the
Yeah.
part I love the most. Yeah.
And one of the elements to it that I think you really like to weave in there is duality. Like there's a lot of complexity to that. And I didn't know maybe an instance of where that showed up through this album.
Well, I mean, in Orpheus, right?
Right.
In the movie, there's Orpheus, and then there's like Death herself. So I think that's just a beautiful duality to explore. There's definitely some duality on the record. Let me think. I think, well, in Just a Wall, there's a line that says, bang a fist against the mirror, and now it's just a wall. And in the movie, the mirror is this portal to the underworld. But it's really about perspective. Like you could just shatter your own portal and stay closed-minded, or you could pass right through and discover this underworld. But there's
really
a lot of duality as far as accepting your fate or your destiny, or denying it and controlling your own narrative and your own life story.
Yeah. But the like we talked about earlier, now it's just like so exciting that that's like on the horizon here, where just in August that album's going to come out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Yeah. And there's been some drip too. Like you've released a few of the songs from there.
Many songs. We're actually up to 4. So we'll be celebrating the release of our 4th single the day that we play in Bethlehem.
Oh, very cool.
We're releasing the next track. Yeah.
Very cool. And I think that was another an area that you were going to play something for us, something from the new one.
Sure is. This is a great one. This is probably my favorite track. I'm really glad that people are enjoying it. But it's called Green as Ever. It's track number 2. Little tidbit of info. Track number 2 on the record. It was written upstate, inspired by my surroundings and the beauty of natural life. And just sort of me contemplating whether or not I run towards the destiny I see for myself or create a new one.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'll do my best by myself. You want to talk about beauty? What do you want to say? What I call green, it's calling gray. Duality. According to mythology, we play a role. Don't tell me when the summer ends, I'll be gone. I'll be gone. Years of evolution, no one lingered, nothing sacred. I find apples on the floor of the doorways in the same dreams. I have them all the time. Oh, I them all the time. According to mythology, we play a role. Don't tell me when the stars are gone. I'll be gone. I'll be gone. I'll be If and when you come back, stay green as ever, gold as flame. I'll be gone. 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 What a soft version.
Oh, that was beautiful.
So soft.
That was stunning. That was beautiful. Really, thank you so much.
Hey, my pleasure.
Thank you. So I wanted to ask about the one other track on there, and it has a little bit of a purpose to it because of the other organization we're going to be talking to in this month is a local nonprofit called Lehigh Valley Girls Rock. And
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, and I've learned now that actually it's like a national thing. There's just like Girls Rock, Miami, whatever. Like it's an organization. I didn't realize that part, but we're bringing on the organization, and they do great things here in basically allowing a safe space for women, girls, transgender, and non-binary to have a space to learn music and to rock, like to make that more of a path that they could go down and feel good about it. So I just wanted to get your take on that, and also the song "Someone's Daughter." I think the story behind the writing there is like your career as a woman, and I just didn't know if there was anything you could share there, and tell me if I'm wrong on that.
That's what everybody thinks.
Okay.
But I'm also, this drives some people crazy, but I'm also of the perspective that once you've listened to my song, it's yours to do what you want with. You know what I mean? Like you get to decide what it's about. So if that's what you think it's about, that's fine. But I'm sure that there will be so many people that see it that way. I think more than being in the industry, a woman in the industry, there's definitely a lot of feelings about just being a woman in this country, being a woman in this world that come across in that song. But it didn't feel, when I was writing it, it didn't feel like this like big universal statement. It was kind of almost self-pitiful, like looking at myself and what I'm doing, and I don't know. It was more personal than trying to say this big thing. Sure. Which,
but maybe the personal, genuine message is just resonating with so many people that
absolutely
it has more of a message behind it for people to feel like. Again, I think for these things, it's so important for that music can connect somebody to help them not feel alone, or not feel like that there isn't something like that would be like, it's so important for a young lady who's 9, 10, 11 years old, who's like, I want to play the guitar, but everyone else tells me that's a boy's thing, whatever. And it's like, hopefully we're erasing that more and more as time's going on. And when they can go see you just actually, just shred and rip a song and be a rocking
shred, dude.
Right, exactly. But I just mean like those things are so important. And it's also important for young boys to see that too, that it's like that this all is, it's all should be this way. Anyway, I just love what that organization does from that regard.
Well, you know, I'm a music teacher. Most of my students are little girls,
Sure.
and there is nothing more amazing than seeing those things click. But I was also 11 years old when my music teacher at the time, Charlie Seymour, shout out to Charlie Seymour, put a guitar in my hand and was like, you need to learn how to do this, because if you're going to play music and write songs, like, you have to be the one to play the instrument too. And I remember he said, can't always rely on the boys. And it wasn't wrong.
No, not at all.
Not wrong. Not wrong at all.
Yeah. So thank you for that. And again, like, I can't wait to talk to them and kind of have them see your story and all that kind of stuff. It's just really, really, great stuff going on.
Connect me. I love girls who rock.
Very cool. Very cool. And probably in closing here, I would just love to we're so proud of our Festival of Music Fest, and you played so well last year that we just always like to get it. I even have a very short video. It's really you guys kind of just playing around. Either it's the end of one song or the intro to one. But it's just to give people another flavor for more of your live show that I'll play. But I guess before we do that, would love to get your take on Music Fest and what you thought of it.
Music Fest was cool. So Charlie grew up in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Oh, cool.
So it was kind of like a hometown show for him. We got to see a lot of family.
Nice.
Eat some funnel cake.
Yes.
But yeah, it was cool.
Fry it.
I was very overwhelmed by the reception of things in Bethlehem.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting people to have looked me up, ready to come see my set. Because we were scheduled to play Music Fest in like 2019 or something, and we got double booked and we couldn't make it.
Wow.
And I remember getting messages back then that were like, what happened? I was ready to see your set of people, and I've never been to Bethlehem before. People I didn't know at all. And so that was kind of like my first clue. But yeah, it was like overwhelmingly supportive. I was totally blown away by everyone's kindness and support after the Music Fest set.
That is cool. Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, we do definitely have people who like to listen to music and definitely invest in who's coming to town.
Yeah, for sure. It's obvious. Yeah.
Cool. Well, why don't I bring that up? This is it'll kind of overlay the top of things, and maybe you can even chat about what it is, because unfortunately it wasn't enough for me to recognize it, and it might be just you guys kind of riffing and jamming. So let's see what.
Wait, okay, I haven't heard the audio.
Sorry, I cut you off there. What's that?
I haven't heard the audio from the other videos that you've played, though. I don't know if I'll hear it from this.
Oh, okay.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out. Let me see if I can figure it out.
We'll roll the dice.
Okay. I can't see it.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's scrubbing through.
Got it.
Well, maybe I'll have to leave it in the comments,
Oh, cool. Yeah, I can always send it to you, like, through Dropbox or something.
Yeah, I'll leave it in the comments, whatever it is. That's the crew.
There they are. And for those of you who haven't come to Music Fest, there's 12 free stages. If you're anywhere within Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, August 5th through the 14th, I think it is this year.
4th, I think.
That's right. 4th would be like the preview night.
Yeah.
It's a Thursday, yeah. And 12 free stages of music, and you get to catch stuff like this. So it's definitely an intro to a song.
I'm guessing it could be sweeter than
And there it is.
if it's like a psychedelic little intro thing.
It definitely
I think
was,
it is.
Yeah, that's sweeter than honey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So there's like a taste of live. We got Aubrey to play 2 beautiful renditions of songs that like basically your most known hit and something that's about to be released. It's out there as a single right now, but the full album will be released next month.
Speaking of live, she'll be playing,
and that's what we were going to do now. Yeah,
Yeah.
Let's promote things.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
Well, she'll be playing the Levitt Pavilion at Steel Stacks on July 7th. It is a 7:30.
Usually
7:30. 7:30 show. So we should all be there to check out
Free?
Aubrey and her band. It is a free show.
Free in front of the beautiful Steel Stack. So you played Zinsenplatz, which was North Side last year. I don't know if you got to see South Side.
We wandered around for a while. I don't know if we got all the way down there though.
Got it.
Actually,
Probably
I
not.
feel like I do remember seeing it though on our drive.
Probably the drive. Yeah, those big
that's
giant.
Pretty remarkable landmark.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get to play right in front of all that, and it's such a cool
So
stage.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anything else you want to talk about promotional wise, like in addition to the album coming out next month and the show there, the tour you have set up right now is pretty robust. Like you're going to be in a lot of cities.
I mean, robust. It says robust as anything that I've done in the last 3 years. Yeah. It's smaller cities, but mostly like New England and Northeast stuff.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. So
be
people should definitely get out to see the shows. They can check your website for the tour dates.
everything.
Anything else to promote? Any like merch, t-shirts?
We're having lots of merch, but on the road first.
Got
So
it.
first come, first serve. If you're at a show,
Got it.
lots of new merch.
Yeah. Any vinyl
tour
coming out?
press.
Any vinyl pressings?
Vinyl will be available for pre-order on the tour too.
Very cool. Super cool. Well, thank you so much, Aubrey.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
This was so nice to have you on and to share your story and to kind of hopefully get some people out there to the shows and to get
Oh,
more
I
introduced to your
appreciate it.
music.
Yeah.
And we'll do like a closing here and then we'll just bring you back on to say goodbye.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool. David.
Philip.
Aubrey Haddard.
She was wonderful.
So good. The music's amazing. Such interesting stories behind things. And it's not just the whole songwriting thing. It's the music. It's the lyrics. It's the whole shebang.
Sure. She's an excellent musician. She's a wonderful vocalist. And to see the whole thing unfold with her band, who's been the same band, is also a nice aspect to see how that all comes together.
Yeah, there's certainly something to be said there because not only is it this same band all those years, but also she talked about that it's the same kind of music producer and the same video, cinematographer, whatever. It's like clearly there's good mojo going on. It's good,
Yeah, precisely.
good vibes.
Yeah.
And that's super, super awesome for her. So we are going to be also introducing everybody to more of the Lehigh Valley Girls rock story.
Correct.
And then we're also going to have later on this month the Arcadian Wild, who are performing on the 14th. So we got a good double Dutch here.
Yeah, it's a fantastic double bill. It's wonderful musicians, wonderful music that I love.
Yes.
So this is just, for me, this is just fun.
I know, right? I just keep pinching myself when people say yes. I'm always just like, really? Cool. How's next Tuesday?
Yeah.
So anyway, let's close out the show.
Wonderful.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
Thank you to Aubrey Haddard for joining us and just sharing her entire wonderful story and playing 2 songs, not 1, but 2. Thank you so much, Aubrey, for that. In the show notes will be links to the website where you can find out more about the tour dates, to Spotify channel, YouTube channels. It's all out there. Give her a subscribe, a follow, and purchase some of the merch. It's always a great way to support the artists. Thank you to who am I forgetting here? I'm forgetting. Carver Commodore, Argodont Wasp, and Blair Crimmins for letting us use your music during the show. It always makes things sound so much better. And if you'd like to sponsor us, get in touch. If you'd like to be on the show as a musician, submit. And also, if you want to suggest somebody to be David and my next favorite band, the website is stereophilia.studio, or you can connect with us on any of our social media, which is @NextFaveBand on all of the socials. Thank you so much for tuning in this month. Like we said, we have Arcadian Wild, and we also have Lehigh Valley Girls Rock later this month. And then for August, we've really got a banger of a show to give you a primer for, obviously, Music Fest. Hope to see you at a live show soon.
It's all over now.